I tell them suckers to move. I ain't in the mood. Got me with the crew, let me do what I do. I tell them suckers to poof. Got me in the booth, lobby in the truth. Let me do what I do. Yeah, remember when the U come through, enter the music jungle. Or back with the block, I used to rock, I used to fumble. I still rock down, drop the ball when I want to. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Manny.
My name's Alberto.
And this is the OnlyFights Podcast.
Episode 18.
Yes, sir, 18.
So what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
How was your birthday?
It was regular Tuesday for me.
Yeah, didn't do nothing?
I ain't do shit. Just got younger, that's all.
Word.
Yeah, man. But you know, we had good fights. Actually starting somewhat on my birthday because it was the 17th in Australia. We had Tim Tszyu taking on Takashi Inoue. Mm-hmm. And I didn't watch it, but read about it because Australian time, man. I think fights are like on at like 4 in the morning or something crazy time like that. But I read about it, and he seemed to have a really dominant win, winning undoubtedly every round, and sounds good. But a lot of people are now questioning his power because he struggled to get him out of there, and not so sure about this. A win's a win, I get that, but
so he didn't get the finish.
Nah, he got the decision. The same way like a fighter can raise his stock in a spirited losing effort, the same could work the other way around.
Hell yeah, he could give a bad performance or not a very entertaining performance.
Yeah. And,
people aren't going to be very interested.
Yeah, but I do think that this should get him closer to a title shot. He should be the mandatory for Brian Castano, who took on Jermell Charlo earlier this year.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. Tim Tszyu, son of Costa Tszyu. So
nice.
Yeah, and we had a lot of boxing. We had Dazn on Friday.
Yep.
Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade taking on Jason Quigley for Demetrius's WBO championship. For those that don't know, that Demetrius Andrade, that's the guy who ran up on Canelo's press conference after the Billy Joe Saunders fight with the whole get the fuck out of here and all that shit.
Yeah.
So that's him.
What weight class is that he's in?
160. So he's not even in Canelo's weight class, which just further complicates why people want that matchup. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, they were both at 154. Andrade was a champion. Canelo never fought him. And 160, Andrade was a champion. Canelo never fought him. And then at 168, is the first time he ever claimed to want to be the first Mexican undisputed champion. So there is like, a small case, I guess you can make.
Yeah, you can paint that picture.
But when you look at the people that Canelo's fought.
Oh yeah. Also, to be fair, I've never heard of this guy till that press conference. I think it was the first time I heard of him. Yeah, no,
I follow up on. I mean, it does seem like a lot of people duck Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Like, he called out Charlo. He did the same thing to Canelo. He did the same thing to Charlo at a press conference years ago. And I remember the infamous words when Charlo was just looking at him like, I ain't a matchmaker, bro. That's what he kept saying. Like, I ain't a matchmaker, bro. And I know there's some beef between them and I guess like management issues or something. I have no idea. You could probably look it up. But where Charlo said he'd never fight him on some grudge, holding a grudge type shit. So anyways, nonetheless, Andrade can't get a good fight to save his life, despite having a good promoter, who I think is a good promoter, and Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
But he takes on Jason Quigley, a guy who's way undermatched, in a pretty thrilling card. As I said, Eddie Hearn, pretty decent promoter. So starts off with a unification bout in a women's 140 division. Jessica Camaro taking on Kali Reese. Mm-hmm. This was a good fight. I I thought Kamaru did well, landing good clean shots. Khalil Reese was very relentless. Started getting tired in the middle rounds, and Kamaru was putting it on her. I thought she was winning the majority of these rounds, but they were close, and Khalil Reese ends up winning a razor thin split decision. Crowd wasn't too happy. I thought Kamaru won, but it is what it is.
Mm.
But it was a good fight. Women, man, these women been putting on some scraps. Like it's kind of crazy. How often I really look forward to the women fights now,
Yeah.
just because I feel like they haven't been letting me down. Um, and that was the first fight I seen in that card. And in the co-main, you have Julio Cesar Martinez, super exciting fighter, taking a Mexican fighter, taking on a Puerto Rican fighter, and Nick Williams Arroyo. Um, this had the potential to be the fight of the year. I feel like I do say that a lot, but I mean the first round was a war. You know, both guys came out jabbing and being very technical. Martinez, was lacking in defense. He's not the most defensive responsible guy, but he was a little, more irresponsible than usual, and
Yeah.
he was getting caught. He ends up getting dropped. Rocked a few more times, and then he hurts Arroyo, and by the end of the round, he drops him. So both guys get dropped in the first round. Crazy good first round. I think Martinez got the better in dropping him. I think he hurt him more in Arroyo. But yeah, real good exciting first round. Second round, Martinez, he came out boxing a lot better, had better defense, had Arroyo bloody. He knocked him down again.
Mm.
Martinez was stalking him, taunting him, and by the end of the round, Arroyo's right eye was just leaking, pouring. And oh, by the way, the cut was there was a cut by due to a headbutt.
Oh shit.
So an accidental headbutt. So during the in between the second and third round, they had the doctor look at it, and Arroyo told the doctor that he couldn't see, which is pretty much that's gonna stop the fight. Everybody knows
every
that.
time.
If you tell the doctor that you can't see, he's gonna stop the fight without question. Um, they stopped the fight, and the fight ends in a no contest because it didn't go past 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
Damn.
And now a lot of people, kind of questioned Arroyo, including myself. Because he knew that if he said those words, I can't see,
Yep.
the fight's gonna get stopped. And I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna rematch or if Martinez might just move on from that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with either or, because it was looking to be a crazy fight. Probably wouldn't have lasted much longer, anyways.
Yeah.
You
So
know
you
what I
think
mean?
you think he was hurt?
I think even just to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think maybe he didn't want to fight with that cut. I think he wanted a more fair.
Obviously, he knows the rules that if it does stop now, it would go to no contest instead of
a loss,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. Yeah, and I think he figured that he would either get a rematch or, he didn't want to fight in that condition, and it is what it is, man. You can say what you want about that logic or whatever,
Yeah, that's tough. In boxing, I guess your record does matter a lot more.
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think we're kind of moving away from that a little bit now too. Like seeing so many more good fights. I mean, it's just like you said, in the losses, you could still raise your stock in a loss.
Yeah, just last week with Gabe Rosado having a record of I think 30-15 now or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even less wins than that. Yeah. So and then you can look at guys like Manny Pacquiao. He had 7 losses, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But unfortunately, we still look at that as a as a sign of greatness, which can be if done properly. If you're just fighting a bunch of guys that you know makes you
Yeah, there's
30
definitely a
and
whole
0.
science. Floyd definitely showed us there's a whole science to it.
Yeah, yeah. Floyd fought a majority. He fought the most champions out of I think any other boxer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Even in such a short. Uh, that's the thing, like the volume. When people bring up like Chavez being 87 and 0, and it's like most of those guys weren't that great. You know what I mean? Whereas Floyd with 50 and 0, you take out the first, I don't know. I think he won 3 championships in his 13 fights.
Mm-hmm.
So you take out like the first like 10 fights. We're talking, 40 championship worthy fights.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, it all depends how you do it. For example, like Demetrius Andrade, he's 30 now. 18 KOs. But because he can't get in any fights, hasn't really fought anybody. And that's who was in the main event, taking on Jason Quigley, who was 19 and 1 with 14 knockouts. You know, so Jason Quigley was stopped by Toronto Johnson in the ninth round a few years ago, and changed his trainer and started working with Andy Lee, and he's been undefeated ever since, beating Shane Mosley Jr. back in May, by majority decision. So, it's probably his best time to step up. But that doesn't change the fact that he was still in there overmatched against Andrade, who not only struggles to get good fights, but struggles to get his opponents out of there sometimes, and struggles to look like spectacular, kind of like what I was saying about Tim Tszyu. So in this fight, that's what he had to do.
Yeah.
Round one, little bit of a slow start, a lot of feigning, being really calculated, and all that stuff. But once Andrade goes in for the kill, man, like, he just catches him with a right hand, hurts him, drops him, and proceeds to just batter him, has him up against the ropes, and first round, and Jason was able to last the end of the round. But the start of the second round was not much different. Quigley gets caught, and his glove touches the ground. The referee doesn't count it, so Andre just keeps walking him down, goes back to boxing, being patient, and left hand floors Quigley, and he gets up, and Andre thought the fight was over, but he got up, came back, flurry, ref waves it off, mission accomplished. Gets a nice stoppage against
Second round.
Second round against a guy he should have stopped
Yeah.
in like the second round. So, hopefully, he can get a fight, man. He did what he had to do with who was in front of him, with who he had. So, I know Triple G fights Murata in December. And he's a DAZN fighter.
Oh yeah,
so
that's the fight he wants, right? He called out Triple G.
Triple G, or he's been calling everybody out. But yeah, a fight with Triple G, or even the guy who beat Chris Rosado, or Gabe Rosado, excuse me, last week, Jaime Munguia.
Yeah.
But either way, man, that'll be a good fight.
How do you think that fight goes if he fights Triple G?
It depends, man. It's hard to gauge Triple G now, because like he looked like shit against Sergey Deverenchenko.
Yeah.
But then he's looked spectacular against these lower level guys, and the more we see Canelo just being dominant, the more the more like it shines a little bit of light on Triple G, because it seems like he was the last guy to give him a tough task.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it really all depends on the type of Triple G we get. I mean, if we get the Triple G that we've been used to, I think we could see a pretty good fight. If we get a more aging Triple G, like I feel like we're gonna be getting, I guess we just have to see him against Murata, because like I said, if he's a more aging Triple G, I don't know. I feel like people now know that he can get hurt to the body.
Yeah.
I think Canelo opened that door. And Sergey Deverenchenko also, was able to land good body shots and back Triple G up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends, but yeah, I think Andre could beat Triple G. I think he could beat Munguia. I think Munguia would be an easier fight, and I don't know about Charlo. I mean, I gotta see what's up with him. I mean, he hasn't really been doing much. So,
Yeah.
160, decent guys in that division, man, but not too much going on. So I'm hoping that can change soon. But yeah, that was a DAZN card. That was a pretty. It would have been a better card if if the co-main, you know, ended properly.
Yeah.
That was the fight that should have.
That card was free though? Well, free on
It was
DAZN?
on DAZN, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until further notice, everything on DAZN is under their subscription.
Word.
So yeah. So what's up with I know we had some.
Yeah, the
some
fight
UFC.
night. We had the UFC fight night last night. It was Miesha Tate versus Ketlen Vieira. I just watched the main card, which was pretty good card. The first fight was probably fight of the night. It was a real exciting fight. I knew this was a good matchup. Davy Grant versus Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez, 27-year-old, like bright prospect. I think he was coming off a 7-fight win streak. Mexican American fighting out of Texas. Davy Grant, this guy's been around for a while. I think his last fight though, he got beat up by Cheeto. I think that was his last fight. But he's that guy. I've never seen him get hurt in a fight. Like he's a fucking dog. So first round, it was really good. Grant had a lot of good kicks and combinations. Like his combination, the way he mixes it up, like kicks and punches and stuff, like to the body and everything, is really fun to watch. Yanez has some real good. Yanez has some real good boxing. Real slick, real smooth. He kind of reminded me of like a young like Jorge Masvidal, like his stance and like the way he's like so confident in his hands and shit. He had some real good counters. That's how he was touching Grant up the most, like with the counters. And I would say that gave him the first round pretty much. Second round, Yanez showed his chin a little bit. Grant came out, a little more urgency, throwing some big bombs and, landing some pretty big bombs. But Yanez did a really good job of rolling with everything. And, he seemed like he was able to see everything and never really was hurt. And kept hitting him with the counters like over and over again, and his jab too, man. He had a real nice jab. Grant got busted up real quick. He was leaking from the nose by the end of the second. The second round was definitely a lot closer. Third round, Grant comes out, even more active, throwing big looping punches. You could tell he's getting a little tired. He's doing spinning attacks. He's doing flying knees. Yanez continues to work the jab. The whole round, they were pretty much standing in the middle, exchanging, and both landing pretty big shots. Grant got super busted up. His face was all bloody. The round was real close. And the last minute of the fight, Yanez really like begins to pull away. Like he starts picking him apart with the jab even more. He's like doing like double and triple jabs. Like it was crazy. Like he couldn't do anything about it. Very impressive performance, and I was very impressed with how calm Yanez was the whole time. He ended up getting the decision win. They had said that his head coach apparently had passed away a few months ago.
Yeah,
this is his first fight without his head coach, and it was kind of sad. Like at the end, you could tell it just kind of like hit him at the end. Like he just like broke.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
he broke down. So yeah, that's this kid's eighth win in a row. He didn't call anybody out. He said he wants to fight somebody in the top 15. I don't think he's ranked. So I think he deserves to fight somebody in the top 15. I think Sean O'Malley called him out like afterwards or something. Nice. Called him out, which I thought was kind of weird, but that'd be a good fight. I mean, what I saw from Yanez is that he did get touched up a lot. Like I said, he seemed real confident with rolling, and because he wasn't really busted up at all. He looked like he was still pretty fresh. And but yeah, really good performance from that kid, man. I'm excited to watch him fight.
Nice.
Second fight was a bantamweight fight. Ronnie Yaya, Brazilian fighter, older guy, jiu-jitsu specialist. I think he's tied in the division for the most submission wins.
Damn.
He fought a South Korean fighter, Jung Ho Kang. I feel like all these South Korean fighters are coming out of nowhere now. I never seen this guy fight, but he was pretty good. Kang was clearly the superior striker. He looked real fast and real strong. Yaya was able to get a takedown off a flying knee attempt, and Kang did a really good job of getting up. You know, staying out of danger on the ground and getting up. He even dropped Yaya twice. Yaya and he dropped him twice, and you know just kept letting him get back up because obviously he didn't want to grapple with this guy. So you know I would say Kang got the first round. It was pretty good round. It looked like it was gonna be the same, you know, typical grappler and striker. Second round, Kang hits Yaya with like 2 real big punches, and Yaya goes for the takedown right away, gets a double leg takedown, and you know was able to pass the guard, and Kang kind of like scrambles on the ground, tries to get up, and Yaya just like finds his way onto his back like so smooth. It was crazy. You know, gets the body lock in, and then for the rest of the round they're pretty much just fighting hands. You know, Yaya's trying to get the choke, isn't able to get the choke, but you know controls him the whole rest of the round. So at that point I have it 1-1 going into the third. Third round, Kang obviously wants to keep the fight on the feet. He does a pretty good job of stuffing a couple takedowns, hits him with some really big punches, and drops him and hurts him pretty bad. And then at that point, like you can tell he knows he has him hurt, so he jumps on him, and Yaya somehow fucking wraps him up, man. He wraps him up, reverses position, and is pretty much in control again. Like he has his back again, and I think Kang does get back up, but then he's able to get him back down. And Yaya pretty much had, I think they said over 10 minutes of ground control of the whole fight. 15-minute fight, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a good fight, but Ronnie Yaya ends up getting the win by decision. He doesn't get the submission, but you know he got beat up pretty good in that first round, so it was kind of a comeback win. And he's like an older guy, like he looks like a dad, like he looks like an older dad. So it was pretty cool to see him get the win. That was a pretty good fight. The third fight was a women's flyweight fight, 125. Joanne Wood versus Talia Santos. Joanne Wood is Scottish fighter. She's ranked number 5. Santos is ranked number 10. She's Brazilian. I've never seen Santos fight, but you know, right away she looks stronger. She looks faster. Both of them are landing, but Santos is the only one that is really like doing damage. Towards the end of the round, Santos drops Wood, and with a big right hand, Wood is able to get back up, but then she's dropped again, like pretty much by the same punch, like, you know, big right hand gets dropped again. This time Santos jumps right on her, is able to take her back, and you know finds the choke and chokes her out, and Woods taps with like 15 seconds left.
Wow.
In the first round.
Bong bong.
Yeah. So you know they're always looking for new competition for Valentina. So she looked good though. I'm surprised I've never seen her fight the Talia Santos. She looked real strong. She looked fast. Like her striking looked good, and the way she found her neck on the ground so quick, like you could tell, you know, she knows what she's doing on the ground. I'd definitely like her to see her fight Valentina. I mean, I think she definitely gonna have to get probably at least one more win. Joanne Wood was ranked number 5. Santos was 10, so this will get her up there. Probably like, you know, a top 5 fight, and that'll get her right there. But yeah, Santos looked real sharp, real confident, like really good prospect to watch.
Yeah, good stuff.
The co-main, Michael Chiesa was fighting Shawn Brady. I never heard of Shawn Brady, but found out he's a Philly fighter. So, you know, that was cool.
No, we've seen Shawn Brady before.
Did we?
Times. Yeah, a couple times. I feel like, cause I know Philly fighters. Like, once I see them, I always keep it on my memory bank and shit.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I didn't remember him, honestly.
I don't remember what card, but we definitely seen him fight before.
All right, yeah, I didn't remember, but he definitely got my attention on this one. So he fought Michael Chiesa, who's ranked number 6. I don't even know if Shawn Brady was ranked. Oh yeah, I think he was ranked number 14. It says ranked 14. But, you know, Michael Chiesa is by far his biggest challenge yet. Michael Chiesa was about to get the title shot when Jorge Masvidal got the second title shot. Michael Chiesa, like the talks were that Chiesa was gonna get it, but obviously they went with the Masvidal fight because that makes more money. But Chiesa was right there. He was in talks to get the next title shot before the second Masvidal fight. So yeah, Sean Brady, undefeated fighter, 28 years old. He looked like he was giving up a lot of size to Michael Chiesa, which was made me a little worried. But the first round, both guys came out. They both were patient, filling each other out. Most of the first round, Brady does get an early takedown, which is very impressive because Michael Chiesa is known for his grappling. I'm sure that was Michael Chiesa's game plan. You know what I mean, to go out there and grapple. Chiesa's able to get up. He's able to get up pretty easy. Brady's able to get him down again, which I think wins him the round. He had the 2 takedowns pretty much. Wasn't nothing else too significant in the first round. Second round, they start to exchange a little more. Brady was definitely getting the better of Chiesa in these exchanges. And then, like I said, it's interesting because I thought, like, the first thing, when I saw the tail of the tape, that was the first thing I thought, that Chiesa has the advantage because he's taller, he's longer, he just looks bigger. He looks like a bigger guy. But Brady was clearly stronger. He was able to take Chiesa down again and control him for like the last 2 minutes of the second round. So he was definitely winning that round. I think they went into the third with him up 2-0. Third round, Chiesa comes out with a lot of urgency. Obviously, he's aware that he's probably down 2 rounds. Lands a couple big shots as he empties the gas tank pretty much, and that's exactly what he did. He emptied the gas tank and he got taken down again. Bradley is able to take his back and control Chiesa, which pretty much earned him the decision win. And like I said, super impressive win. No one's ever really done that to Michael Chiesa like that.
Yeah.
Sean Brady stays undefeated. Calls for a top five fight, which I think is pretty fair. Chiesa was number 6. So
yeah. By the way, it was 259 when Izzy fought Blachowicz. Sean Brady.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I mean, he was on the early prelim, so you probably don't remember. Yeah. But
Yeah, definitely didn't remember. But I'm not known for my memory.
Yeah. Neither am I. I mean, Google and shit. Yeah, man.
But yeah, we're definitely gonna be watching him closely now. Though, like I said, he'll be up there fighting. Top 5, at least top 10 fighter next.
Yeah.
Undefeated out of Philly, man. That's dope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The main event was Ketlen Vieira, Miesha Tate, women's bantamweight.
Good fight.
Ketlen Vieira, Brazilian, ranked number 7. Miesha Tate, former champ, ranked number 8. Miesha Tate's on her comeback, her comeback journey, pretty much. First round wasn't a whole lot of action. The main thing though that I just was thinking was Miesha Tate's stance. Like, I don't know if I'd noticed her, like, her hands up like that before, or she if she did it even more this time. But she had her hands like up a lot and was like putting them outwards, like leaving her head wide, like
pawing. Yeah.
So weird. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes you see like weird unorthodox shit like that from like strikers, but like she's not a striker, so like
yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. That was like the whole time I just thought that was really dumb. Towards the end of the round, Vieira begins to find a home for her right hand, winning her the first round, in my opinion. I saw a lot of people that were like talking about this, saying that some people were arguing that Miesha Tate won this fight, which I don't think. I mean, I don't think she did, but I there's not really a round that I would give her either.
There was a lot of. I thought a lot of the early rounds were close.
They were definitely close, but I don't know. They're definitely close, and I think Vieira just could have. I think she could have been a little more aggressive. That was kind of bothering me a little bit. I was like, man, I think she could have finished her really. But yeah, anyway. So second round, Vieira's really starts picking her apart even more. Vieira looks, she's landing some, good leg kicks and everything. Miesha Tate don't really got to answer. I think she tries to. I think she does take her down in the second round, but Vieira's able to get back up. Third round, Vieira continues to land that right hand, but still being kind of conservative. Wasn't really being very aggressive. I was just so surprised, and even her corner was telling her that, like, you're landing the right hand. I will, like, just keep, back her up. Yeah. Just back her up and throw it. That was really the only thing that Miesha Tate was doing well. She was like applying the pressure the whole fight. pretty much. If she was going backwards, she probably would have got finished. But she was able to, keep going forward. She did land her share of punches. Nothing too significant. In the fifth round, Rhea has Tate's face all beat up. Like she's busted up. She looks bad. Yeah, Miesha Tate showed her toughness, and she shows how bad she wants it. She deserves to be out there and everything, but it wasn't enough. Vieira gets the win by decision. I feel like Vieira really could have got the finish again. Like I think she would have been more aggressive. She could have got the finish. I don't think she's ready for anyone, like Amanda Nunes, in that division. So.
Yeah, no, she gets stopped.
Yeah, she definitely has. She got potential though, but she got a little bit of work to do. But like as for Miesha Tate, I don't really know what's next for her. I don't know if she'll even come back. Obviously, like she said, she wants the title. She's coming. She's only gonna fight if she has a shot for the title. And now I don't know. That kind of, I don't know that happens anymore.
I think she comes back. I mean, I don't think this one loss, like what we were alluding to earlier, in the MMA is a little different. So
yeah, for sure.
I hope not. I think she can bounce back. I mean, it wasn't a bad loss. She didn't get stopped.
Yeah.
And she just managed to lose a lot of close rounds. That's how I saw it. But yeah, she was messed up in that final round.
Yeah. And also the fact that she wasn't able to get any takedowns, I think, is what really is like the almost like the big factor. Yeah. I mean, like if she would have got a takedown or two and was able to control her, I think she might have got 2 takedowns, but Vieira got up right away. She wasn't able to control her at all, and on the feet she was clearly losing. But it was a good fight though. Pretty good card. I think, like I said, that first card, Davy Grant and Adrian Yanez would definitely fight of the night. That was a fun fight.
Nice.
But yeah, that was it. That was it for the UFC pretty much.
Word. Yeah, a lot of stuff on ESPN Plus, I guess, because so ESPN Top Rank rather they had they basically had 2 cards. They had like a free card, and then the pay-per-view, and they both had main events, and they
like
both had
one after another.
So they had a few opening fights, and then a main event for free on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And then the pay-per-view started, and then they had another undercard, and then Crawford Porter. So let me run through. I'm just gonna run through that first main event, which I thought was a great fight. I was telling people it was gonna be a great fight. Isaac Dogboe, taking on Christopher Diaz, both former opponents of Emmanuel Navarrete, who we saw take on who did he fight? Joet Diaz, was it, or Joet Gonzalez, something like that?
Yeah,
I forget. But so Dogboe has 2 losses, both from Emmanuel, and Diaz has a loss from him, and a loss from Shakur Stevenson. So that there's nothing wrong. Shakur Stevenson's a great fighter. We saw him beat Jamel Herring. So, and Dogboe losing to the same guy twice just means he couldn't get past him. So I thought this was a good fight, good comeback fight for both fighters. Dogboe did defeat Adam Lopez a couple months ago. I forget what undercard that was in. Oh, I think Loma versus Loma's last fight. Who the Asian dude, Nakatani, I think it was on that card. So Diaz is coming off that loss to. Is it Navarrete? Yeah. It's Navarrete. That's his most recent loss.
Yeah.
So Isaac Dogboe having a little bit of an advantage here, but the fight was great, man. 10 rounds. Chris Diaz starts off looking good. I was giving him the early rounds. He was shooting the jab, exhibiting good speed, good footwork, a lot of feints, a lot of good combinations. Dogboe would have some offense and do some good work, but I was giving Diaz that round. And in the second round, Dogboe came out a little too aggressive, swinging a lot, missing, and didn't look too sharp. He would eventually connect with some body shots, but Diaz was still looking better in my opinion, working the jab, moving around, landing some great combinations, things like that. and round three, Diaz would come out with the jab again. Having good head movement, landing some counters and things like that. But eventually, Dogbe would start connecting, doing some good work, and Diaz landed a hard left hook that kind of stunned Dogbe, and proceeded to fire off some shots and stuff like that. But Dogbe would come back with his own, and you know tough guys, man. Like, it was kind of a rock'em sock'em back and forth phone booth fight. And I was giving I started giving Dogbe some rounds. I gave him the third round. Round four, Diaz lands some good shots. Has Dogbe looking a little frustrated, and starts to swing wild again. Missing a lot of shots, and he started going back to he had a good double jab throughout the whole fight. Started going back to that. Diaz would catch him with some hard counters, and I think that I would ultimately give him that round just off of that. Uh, you know, and the rest of the fight, round five starts with Dogboy landing a barrage of power punches and really opening up in that first minute of the round. Now Diaz would start getting in some offense, but Dogboy really took control in the fifth round, and I think from there he starts to really walk Diaz down in the sixth round. He gets caught, and Diaz gets caught. Excuse me, and Dogboy would have a good round. Seventh round, a little closer. You know, you can I have it circled. It's a pick'ems round. Both guys were fighting, firing off some shots. I gave that to Dogboy. Excuse me, I gave that to Diaz, but it was a really close round. I could see it either or. Round eight. I think this was another good round for Diaz, but I have it circled, so could have went for either guy. And then 9 and 10, kind of a continuation. Ninth round, man, both guys came out slugging, and Diaz, some taunting from Diaz, man, prompted Dogboy to fire back and land some good shots. I gave him that round, and in the 10th round, man, just more toe-to-toe action. But I think Dogboy easily took that last round, and I would let me see, I would end up having an even fight, even scorecard.
After at the end, or
that's how I had it. Yeah, I had it a draw, but Dogboy took it. 96-94, I believe was the scorecard. I think it was a majority decision, so I think one of the judges had it a draw.
Yeah.
So I wasn't alone with that. But yeah, man, good fun fight for free.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying, on the free card of that Crawford Porter extravaganza.
Yeah.
That's what you want to call it. Nah, man, wasn't too crazy about the other fights on the free card, and wasn't too crazy about the fights on the pay-per-view as well. Simply because you had one fight that had like a bad stoppage. Actually, you had a really bad stoppage in the free fights, but I don't even want to get into that. You had a bad stoppage in the first fight, and you had a bad no stoppage in the second fight where you could have stopped that fight much earlier than you did. So check it out. The first fight that I was talking about, Raymond Murtala defeating Elias Araujo by fifth round TKO. Now, Araujo was there. He was game. He was poised. But he was losing every round. And in the fifth round, he gets caught with a good shot. Nothing crazier than we've seen throughout the whole fight. And the referee just decides to stop it. I thought it was kind of stupid. And boy, was Araujo beside himself, bro. He was flipping shit. Like, he was fucking angry. He was running, like, moving around the ring. Did
he get dropped at all?
I don't think he did. If he did, I missed it.
Yeah.
But not when he got stopped. Like I said, he just got caught with a good shot, and the referee was just like, "Stop." That's it. I was like, oh man. But he was, man. I thought, like, no bullshit. I thought he was gonna cry.
Oh
Like he
shit.
really looked like I can't believe he did this to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was just like, man,
Fuck.
that's fuck. You know, some guys, man, they have to go out in their shield. You know. So, that fight, you didn't have to stop it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, clearly, you know, he wasn't winning the fight, but I digress. And then in the next fight, man, these names are getting harder to pronounce, man. I'm starting to feel like you. Janabek, let me see what we got here. Alim Hanali. Alim Hanali, man, I'm sorry, man. I can't pronounce this. I apologize. But you know what? I don't care because the fight wasn't that good, anyways. Taking on Hassan and Dom. Hassan and Dom, man. I don't know, man. He didn't look like he was there to fight, man. He was just, you know, he had like a really lazy stance. He wasn't moving in too much. He was taking a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is the fight where you probably could have stopped it much sooner. I was about to say Kenny Porter. Kenny Bayless would stop it in the 8th round. And upon stopping it, this motherfucker said, "Nah, I'm prepared to die." He said, "I'm ready to die." And I'm
Damn.
just like, dude, well, you're not ready to fight, man. You know, so that happened, and you know, not the most entertaining card, if I'm being honest, with the exception of the free prelim main event. But in the co-main, we had an IBF title eliminator in the middleweight division. Canadian fighter Patrice Volney taking on Escobar Facaio, a Brazilian fighter. Both guys were undefeated. Patrice Volney being 16-0 with 10 KOs, and Facaio being 28-0 with 20 KOs.
Nice.
Patrice Volney looked like a fighter out of Tekken, like straight up, bro. He had he was like a black dude,
Mhm.
but he had like that Asian look, and he had this stance like before the fight was, bro. His grill was chill, bro. Like
Hmm.
it was insane, like the way he was just staring his opponent down. Um, Slow start. Fakao was looking good in the opening rounds. Um, you know, the first I'd say maybe like 3 rounds, he took pretty handily. But in the 4th round, Patrice Voney, he looks a lot better. He starts firing off shots, and I would end up giving him rounds 4 and 5. And in the 6th round was probably the most competitive round of the fight, which is a shame because 2 minutes in, a really bad headbutt, bro. A really bad accidental headbutt. This is a southpaw versus orthodox fighter, so you get those.
Yeah.
But this is like, man, like imagine somebody hitting you with a pillow, right,
Mhm.
as hard as they can. The velocity of that with their head. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, boom, like, bro, the clackling sound that it made was so disturbing, and I couldn't like they were showing the replay. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, it was a terrible headbutt, bro. What's his name? Fakayo was screaming at the top of his lungs in pain, like. It was bad, and then even and Patrice Volney, like he looked like he just took a punch from freaking Mike Tyson or something. Like
Yeah.
he was stunned and everything. Like,
Damn.
what's that fight that happened in the UFC recently, right? With the
Oh yeah. Kevin Holland got knocked out
yeah,
by the
yeah.
headbutt or clash of heads.
It was kind of like that. It was reminiscent of that, and then the cut was reminiscent of, if you remember, Badu Jack against
I can never forget that.
Marcus Brown with the he had a vagina in his forehead, man.
That shit
That
was huge.
whew, it wasn't that bad, but in this fight, but it was something like that, and so they stopped the fight, and since the fight did go past 4 rounds, we would end up getting a technical decision, a split decision. We have a scores of 58-57, 58-57, and 58-56. I'm sorry. Yeah, so 2 scores of 58-56 and one of 58-57. For Kyle taking it by split decision. And I thought it was
Okay.
fair. He was winning the first few rounds, although Patrice Voney was coming on strong. The fight just didn't go the distance. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, it was a decent fight for what it was, for as long as it lasted.
Yeah.
Um,
That was a co-main.
that was the co-main, and moving on to the main event, Shawn Porter taking on Terence Crawford for Crawford's WBO welterweight title. They had the same guy from the Wilder and Fury. What's that wrestler? Big E or some shit.
Yeah,
Is that
sounds
his
right.
name? Yeah.
The black guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big E.
So they had him like, but they had him actually in the arena,
Mhm.
like next to the fighters as they were, or where the entrance was, um, and he had his own little like hype man speech thing going on. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool, I guess. And Shawn Porter came out with Rhapsody.
That's
So
dope.
shout out to Rhapsody.
Yeah.
She was on Mag's album.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they got a track together. It's dope. Um, Crawford came out by himself. Well, without any rapper, and
Yeah.
he came out to "I'm Bad" from LL
Nice.
Cool J, which I thought was like I was like, yo, that is the perfect song for Terence Crawford, because he's bad,
Yeah.
especially after what he showed, man. This was a great fight though, man. Um, I just kind of have to like bask in that for a moment, because we don't get fights like this that often, and when we do, yeah, two welterweights in their prime, Shawn Porter being a warrior, having everybody was saying that he had the best resume in the welterweight division. I always think that Danny Garcia has it, because that guy fought some
Yeah.
legends, but nonetheless, man, Shawn Porter did fight everybody that he could have fought in his career, dating back to Andre Berto and Paulie Malignaggi, and a much more prime, and respectable Adrian Broner, um, to fighting Danny Garcia
Yep.
and Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, and again a much more prime Kell Brook, before Kell Brook fought, before the injuries, the eye, broken eye sockets and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and you can't question the heart of Shawn Porter, man. He's you know
Real
he was
fighter.
always one of the most fun guys to watch in boxing, and always a dangerous fighter. Even in his losses, he a lot of his losses you can contest, and I digress, man. But like I said, Terence Crawford, being a perfect symbol to that LL Cool J classic, "I'm Bad."
Yeah.
He's just a bad man, and in this fight, Shawn Porter doing what he does, man, giving great fighters a hard time, and he came out like immediately throwing like a three punch combination,
Mhm.
showing Crawford what type of fight he wanted. Uh, but Crawford, being who he was, he looked comfortable throughout the whole fight. He was losing. Crawford's a slow starter. He was losing the first couple rounds. Um, it didn't take long for him to switch to southpaw. I think he did that in the second round. Um, but and of course that's when things start to heat up a little. Um, you know, and after the second round, Bomac was actually yelling at Bud, telling him not to get into the fire.
Yeah.
So and I was nervous for Bud, man. I was nervous for Bud, because I knew that all it could take is like one good punch and get Porter in his bag, and round three, things really heat up even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, Porter catches Bud, and gives Bud the smile. Bud's smiling, like,
Yeah.
like we know what that means, and he starts throwing his like winging shots. If you've seen Bud, man, he likes to time his opponents and catch him with these winging shots. That's how he caught Kell Brook,
Yeah.
with that crazy weird looping right hand that he knocked him out with. Yeah, man. And then I don't know. I think Porter actually got the better of that round, but that's what kind of opened up Bud to get in his bag, and in round 4, man, you know, he really starts to put it on and catch Porter. He catches Porter with a punch that has Porter like moving. He catches Porter and then like sidesteps as he did it, and so Porter would end up like almost like a push punch, and basically he gets knocked into the corner face first. It was really reminiscent of like when Mayweather did it to Ricky Hatton. Now it wasn't as bad because Hatton, I mean, that was it for Hatton. But like for this one, it was just showcasing Bud, man, just doing what he does. And by like the 6th round, Porter's visibly frustrated. Some crazy combinations from Bud. Some gritty fighting from Porter. 6th round was probably the best round, most competitive round. But yeah, man, just like a lot of tactical fighting from Bud, a lot of grittiness from Porter, and I mean that was just a story to fight, man. Like I said, Bud is now in his bag in round 7 and 8 and 9, all close rounds. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, 10th round would come in. Actually, so then in the 9th round, after the 9th round, somebody told Bud that he was down, that he was losing the fight.
Somebody in his corner?
Yeah. And he looked at him and was like, how am I losing this fight? And 10th round starts, and not much longer, man. He drops Porter with a right hand, catches him, and Porter comes back up, and he gets dropped again with the same punch, and Porter's just pissed off. He's pounding the canvas with his fist, with his glove, and that was really hard to watch, man.
Yeah.
It was really hard to watch that. And as you're seeing that from the camera angle that you're seeing that, you can see his father walk up to the corner, walk up to the ring and stop the fight, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at him stopping the fight.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time. Like I didn't think, I think like Bud already took Porter's like soul right there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So he stops the fight, and some controversy, if you want to say, with the post-fight interview. They interview him, Kenny Porter, and ask him about the stoppage and things like that. And I was not cool with what he said, man. Like we're gonna play what he said real quick so y'all can hear it, man.
What prompted you to stop the fight tonight?
Honestly, his preparation. He didn't prepare like I wanted him to prepare. So that's just, that just makes me say, you know what? I don't want him in that situation. He fought a great fighter. The guy is super sharp, and he's at a deficit. It's like fighting this guy blindfolded when you're in a deficit like that. So I wasn't going to let that happen to him.
He looks in great shape, but only you knew what happened in the gym. How would you have liked for him to prepare that you didn't see?
Well, I mean, when guys get to certain levels, they believe they know what they're doing, and they don't necessarily take all the information. So, this is where we at with it, and I had to make that decision. It's an easy decision for me. It's easy. He lives right across the street from me. I'll be having breakfast with him in the morning. It's easy.
Andre Ward said you didn't stop it because of what happened there. It was about what you were seeing could happen. Was that accurate?
Oh, no, definitely what he did, and Shawn was hurt. And moving forward, this guy is, like I said, he's a sharp fighter, and my kid is at a deficit at that point. He can't defend himself like he should, and I had to protect him.
Yeah. You could hear the crowd reaction, the boos. I didn't think it was cool, man. Like, I thought it was kind of like that's like some piece of shit, bro. Like, how you gonna throw your son under the bus?
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
like a little too much insight, right?
Too much insight, and also like you're his trainer, so who are we blaming if he's not properly trained or prepared? Like, but that's your job.
I think that's the problem though. It's like his perspective, or like his perspective totally changed right there. Like he was like, everything he said there was from this perspective of his father, not from his trainer, I think. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. And I mean that's the whole thing. I mean the a father son like trainer or father trainer relationship, or however you want to say that, like it's always like bad in boxing. Like it always starts off decent. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of Puerto Rican fighters were trained by their fathers.
Yep.
You know, it always starts off good, and then it's like there's always a point where you gotta like. There's a lot of people that think that Danny Garcia should have been cut his father off, and I'm one of them. You know, Cotto, Trinidad, you know those guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
Yeah, maybe not cut off, but it's like, your dad could take you to a certain point, and then it's like
Exactly, and then let
you need
somebody
help.
else step in.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who knows. I mean, that's what they did with that's what happened with Floyd Mayweather. When
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, like Floyd's dad trained Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, and Floyd went with Roger, his uncle.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. And even when Kenny Porter stopped the fight, if you watch it, like he's walking around the ring with his son, talking to him in his ear. And I think he's trying to calm his son down.
Yeah. What was Porter's like initial reaction when his dad stopped it?
I think Porter's just so used to not going against his father. And he kept saying, like, I'm not, like, I understand why my father stopped the fight,
Yeah.
and this, that, and the third. And I don't think he wants to speak out on his father, but I think initially he was mad. I think he wanted to go out in the shield, you know? I mean, that's just the thing. That's the thing that, and of all people, you know, Shawn Porter is, you know, he's a warrior, man.
And
like,
especially with what he revealed later on that night.
yeah, retirement.
Yeah. So especially if, like he said, that win, lose, or draw, he planned on retiring.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm sure he wanted to go out in the shield.
And I listened to his podcast, and he did veer to that. He alluded to it with the same thing, because in the post fight conference when he announced his retirement, he quoted Andre Ward with everybody saying, "Yo, Andre, don't I think you got one more fight in you. You got one," and he's always
Yeah.
telling people, "Why can't I just have one more fight in me?" And Shawn Porter mentioned that in one of his podcasts, like while he was preparing for this fight. So I think that I believe that he's been, he had retirement on his mind.
And obviously, he's found what he wants to do. Like, he does a podcast, and we've seen him a lot on all these other fights,
Yeah.
all the other promotions, doing commentary and
all that stuff.
analyst stuff.
Yeah.
So that's something I thought about before, and I never brought it up, but now I kind of wish I would have brought it up. Like, do you think that him doing so much other stuff is kind of what his dad was alluding to, saying that he didn't put the time in or something? You think he was a little bit already outside of boxing with all the other jobs he was doing?
That could be it. Regardless, I just don't like the way he did it, man. You know, it wasn't a good look. Especially when you watch I'll be calling it 24/7 blood,
Yeah.
sweat, and tears, whatever they call it now. But like they showing Kenny Porter being really hard on his son.
Yeah,
Shawn.
at the end of the day, it is his son, obviously. It's got to be tough to be out there and watch your son fight, especially somebody of him who knows it so well. He knows what Crawford's capable of. He knows what was about to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, he just didn't want to see it. Yeah, I think he just got too personal with it. Like I said, he just went into dad role, instead of trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be tough.
Well, nonetheless, man, Terence Crawford, takes on his toughest task, and he passes it very well with flying colors, being the first and only man to stop Shawn Porter. He stops him in the 10th round. And funny thing, Errol Spencer's in the building.
Yeah.
They showed him, and his reaction to the knockout, he was watching it, and he was just like, I guess once he saw that the fight that Kenny Porter was stopping it, he was like, come on, man. And he dipped, bro.
Yeah.
He left, and I was watching a bunch of different like interviews, guys, on YouTube and stuff, with guys asking him like what's up? Like, are we gonna get the fight with you and Bud? And he's like, we'll see. And then they're like Errol, what did you think about his performance? And it's like, hey, he did good. Like, yeah, do you have anything you want to say to Bud Crawford? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, man, like that energy that, like,
It's like they already know that shit's not gonna happen.
yeah, man, it's sad. And Bud was willing, like, I always thought that Bud was willing to make the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was always hard to prove that point because he didn't have the resume like Spence had. And it's funny, but this was his last fight with Top Rank, who, people always use the excuse of across the street, whatever.
Yeah.
And he straight said in front of Bob Arum, he's like, Bob can't get me to fight with Spence, so I'm moving on.
Oh shit.
And yeah, so I guess he's gonna be a free agent. I think this alone puts him up there with like Canelo in terms of like the star power, man. Like
Being able to kind of stay a free agent and kind of be independent.
Yeah, because I don't think he's gonna want to go to the PBC, being that.
I kind of hope that becomes a new thing in boxing where guys are, decide to kind of stay independent more and be able to fight, in multiple promotions.
People always say that boxing is a business, and I hate when people say that. I always say no, boxing is a sport.
Yeah.
Everything else is a business. The promotional companies, the TV networks, the everything, the sanctioning bodies.
Yeah, you can go all the way down though.
If we could eliminate any of those, as many of those as possible, like undisputed, kind of eliminates having multiple champions. If we could eliminate fighters having to deal with promotional companies and just being free agents and utilizing things like social media to
promote their own fights,
to promote themselves. Hey, if fucking Jake Paul can do it, man, come on, you guys can do that shit.
I mean, a lot of guys in the UFC do it real well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that would be dope, man. That would eliminate some of the hands in the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But nonetheless, man, another great weekend for combat sports.
Yeah.
We had some crazy news in boxing with Canelo Alvarez.
Right after the loss, wasted no time.
Dude, his trainer. So if you haven't been following us or boxing media, Canelo's trainer Eddie Reynoso was at the WBC convention where they announced mandatory fights and things like that, and he requested that Canelo fight their cruiserweight champion, Alanga Makabu. He's from the Congo.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. When I saw cruiserweight, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's like almost 200 pounds.
Yeah. Now they might have changed it back to 190 because of that stupid Bridgerweight thing.
Mm-hmm.
So but still, man, Canelo would be jumping up from 168 to at the least 190, and if this guy weighs in 190, on the scales, he's gonna come in at like 215 on fight night.
Yeah.
And Canelo's gonna be fighting a fucking heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And this guy is no slouch. He's the WBC cruiserweight champion. He's the second best cruiserweight in the world, just under Breedis.
Yeah.
But dude, Canelo's moving up 2 weight classes.
Yeah, that's wild.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and 2 weight classes from middleweight to cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like these lower weight classes where 2 weight classes can be like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, this is I don't even want to do the math. This is what, 20 some pounds, 28.
Yeah, almost 30.
30, almost 30 pounds. That's ridiculous, man. You know?
I think last episode I asked like, how much higher up will he go? I definitely didn't expect him to go that high.
Yeah, neither did I.
That's crazy.
I thought 175 would be the highest, and I think he's preparing.
When are they aiming for that?
I guess Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that gives him time to
bulk up.
That's crazy. That's wild.
You gotta want. I mean, so Canelo has Frank Sanchez and Andy Ruiz in his camp, so he probably spars those guys. And those guys are heavyweights.
100%.
And
that's where
he'd probably be fucking them up, yo.
and one day he was probably like, you know what? I think I could fuck some of these guys up at 200.
Like, and it's funny because like I think I posted a comment when the news was announced. I posted a comment on like Fight Hype or Fight Hub, one of them, and I said Canelo versus Usyk 2022 or 2022. Hey, why not, man? Roy Jones did it.
Exactly. That's crazy though. Like I just never thought of that, and now it's like, yeah, that might happen now.
He's trying to be like Pacquiao. You know, he's trying to do some Pacquiao shit.
Yeah.
Cause that would make him what, 5 division?
Yeah. Well, this cruiserweight would be 5. Yeah.
Wow. I think that's gonna set him up for 175, because he's gonna fight at cruiserweight.
Because he went to 175, right? That was the one with Kovalev.
Yeah, and then he's gonna come back down and fight these guys at 175. And I'm sure, like, if he can handle power from a 200-pound man, you know, I'm pretty sure 175.
That is crazy. So you think this is just purely like just him trying to test himself, like really see how far he could push himself?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that, and again, it's you know, being a champion in another weight class, and then it's the preparation for another weight class.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because when he was at 160, he moved up to 168 to fight Fielding, and then that's when he tested the waters there. Then he moved up to 175 to fight Kovalev. And then that's when he came back down to 68 to become undisputed and fight everybody else.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, man, that's some exciting shit. Nobody else in boxing is doing anything remotely close to that.
Yeah.
So you got to give Canelo his props, man. Some people think that this is a glorified cherry pick or something like that, or like he's ducking David Benavidez, which I have no idea why anybody would think that. Like,
yeah, at this point, Canelo's not competing with anybody like that by himself. Yeah, I mean,
he would smash Benavidez, man.
Yeah,
Kion Davis was giving him problems. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how this plays out, but that should be fun, man. But more recent stuff. I'll just run through some boxing. Next week we have Brandon Figueroa taking on Stefan Fulton for Fulton's WBC junior featherweight title. That should be a good Showtime card.
Yeah.
And on the same night, we were finally getting Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos on Dazn.
Nice.
That's gonna be next week. And then I guess the next week or the next big fight would be December 4th. Devin Haney taking on Jojo Diaz, another Dazn fight. And the day after that is the Tank Davis versus Isaac Cruz. That's a pay-per-view fight, which I don't think that's a pay-per-view worthy fight. And then December 11th, we've already ran through like a million fights of that, but for me, that's the Loma versus Richard Commey fight. So some good stuff in boxing.
Oh damn. Yeah, so that December 11th is gonna be the same night as UFC 269, Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier, and Amanda Nunes and Julia Pena. So that's gonna be another packed night. And December 4th, there's also a decent card. Well, I don't know about the card, but the main event should be good. Rob Font versus Jose Aldo. December 4th. So that's next. No, that's not next weekend.
No, that's like 2 weeks from now or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that.
Is there any UFC next week?
No, it looks like there's not.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Wow.
We actually get a night off of the fight nights. Yeah, they've been doing a fight night almost every night that there's not a pay-per-view, or every weekend there's not a pay-per-view. They've been doing one almost every week.
That's odd.
I'm sure the holiday thing maybe.
That's true. Yeah,
taking the holiday weekend off.
That's right. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Wow.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Word.
Yeah. Another fight that all right, so the January card. Oh no, the December card is the Charles Oliveira, Justin Poirier. And then the January card is Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane to unify the heavyweight belt.
Yep.
And on the co-main on that one is Brandon Moreno and Figueroa 3, the trilogy now.
Nice.
That should be another awesome fight.
Yeah, that last one was crazy.
Yep. And then the talks for the February card is Izzy and Whitaker.
Nice.
Izzy Whitaker 2. And then it seems like they're going to give Leon Edwards, who just, Masvidal had to pull out his next fight.
Yeah.
It looks like Leon Edwards is going to get the title shot. They're aiming, I guess, for March or April for Usman and Leon too.
Good shit.
Yeah. Something, the other interesting thing I saw was John Jones went down to Henry Cejudo, Triple C's gym or whatever,
okay.
I guess for a couple weeks or whatever, and was training with him down there. It was pretty interesting watching them too. Like they're doing like little grappling exchanges, and like it looks funny how the size difference.
Yeah.
Like, Cejudo's fucking tiny. But it's interesting, man. It seems like, I mean, I figured obviously John is definitely gonna be using his wrestling in heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like, he's not really known for his power, and obviously all these other heavyweights are known for their power.
Yeah.
So he's definitely gonna be wrestling. He even scheduled a grappling match. I forget the fighter's name, but I haven't heard of him before. A Bellator heavyweight. John has like a grappling match scheduled with him. So that should be interesting. I don't know if that's gonna be on TV anywhere, but what's up?
Didn't somebody just have a grappling match this weekend?
Oh yeah, Chimaev.
Chimaev.
Yeah, he wrestled Jack Hermanson, and from the clips that I saw, he like fucking dominated him.
Dude, he looks so big.
Yeah, there, cause like it's weird. Like when he fights, he looks really like his chest looks kind of caved in kind of. You know what I mean? Like it looks kind of weird, his build. But yeah, in that video of him wrestling, he looks huge. And yeah, like right, yeah, like I saw him do a couple crazy slams on him where he like ties him up and fucking they jump in the air and he lands on top of him with his body on top of him.
Wow.
It looked like some WWE shit, really. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I just saw the video. Like, I'm gonna watch that later.
Yeah, I just saw some clips of it. I'm not sure where that was at, but yeah, Khamzat Chimaev versus Jack Hermanson, I think he's a middleweight, so he's actually a weight class above Chimaev.
Yeah, but he looked smaller though.
It's crazy. Chimaev looked huge. He obviously cuts a lot of weight. Yeah, I'm always interested in those grappling matches. Like, I'm interested in that John Jones one. That'd be interesting to watch him.
Yeah.
You know, he's always been good jiu-jitsu. You know, John's always been good with jiu-jitsu. He submitted fucking Vitor. You know what I mean? Like, Vitor's like fucking black belt and shit. And he survived the armbar from Vitor. Like, in that fight when he fought Vitor,
That's right.
Vitor had him in that crazy armbar that he had his elbow like completely like hyperextended, and John didn't tap. He survives it, and then he chokes out Vitor. Crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
John's
John
a
had
fucking
some crazy fights.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see John Jones come back. Also interesting, you know, he has like a whole new team now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, obviously he had some off the field fucking issues, and I think his gym pretty much like told him that he can't go back there. So he like just joined like a new gym and shit.
Wow.
So
yeah, man, been a while, man. It's been a minute since we seen him fight.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's coming back next year, so you know, I think it'll happen. I'm excited to see John Jones come back.
Word.
But yeah, that's all I got, really.
Same here, man. Well, we want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess we'll just recap some boxing next week since there's no UFC.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some Bellator or something.
Yeah. We'll check on that then. Anyways, until then, my name is Manny.
My name's Alberto.
This is the OnlyFights Podcast. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.